Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm making a couple of quick little projects for my ideas book. I haven't done anything in this for a while and it's an altered book, and I just thought I might just do a couple of quick little projects to put in here so that I can remember to use them in the future. I saw both of these projects over at Treasure Books, so Natasha over there does some great videos. Yeah, so this is where I got the idea for these two embellishments. Right, now first one is going to be an envelope booklet fold out. So I thought this was quite clever actually. So I'm going to make a bit of room here instead of trying to. Right. So firstly I'm going to open this envelope up, so I'm just going to take the smallest amount off of here, both edges, so you can see, you know, that's it, probably less than a 1/16 of an inch off each edge, just so that it is open. And that gives us that. Okay, now you can peel these pieces off or you can cut them off. Now Natasha cut hers off, so that's what I'm going to do. Just cut around there. So we're following the line that's already there from the the flap that's already there. Cut that. Let's do the trim. So this one as well. So this envelope is a bit thicker than your standard envelope. It's like from a greeting card. So it's not your old cheap envelope, but it's not all that sturdy either. Alright, so now what are we going to do now? Now this can be a standalone piece, or it can go into your journal, attached to your journal. I'm going to do mine as attached to the journal, but you can do it like this and have your little closure here. If you're going to do that, you need to cover these two pieces here. I'm not going to do that. Now, what we have to do is, we're going to sew a signature into here, so I need to reinforce this. You can reinforce that with a piece of paper. You can reinforce it with a piece of washi tape. Whatever you like to reinforce that with. Now, I've got this Papercraft 6.5 inch paper pad that I've had for a long time, and I thought I'd use this, and I like that page there. So let's take that out of there. Yes. So I'm going to cut a strip an inch long. An inch wide, I mean, sorry. Let's cut that 1 inch. And I'm going to fold that in half. Like so. You can score it if you want to. Probably easier. So I'm not quite sure what weight this paper would be, but I would say maybe 160 GSM, something like that. So it's certainly thicker than your copier paper, and it's not as thick as, oh, it might be 200 GSM. It's the standard thickness that Papercraft made their papers, and they had good, you know, good quality paper that held its shape. Okay, so I'm going to trim this off now to the right length. So, oh, I can stick it down and then, so I'll stick it down and then I'll trim it up, eh? So I'm just going to put some glue on both sides of this, a few hairy bits there, So I'm sticking the back. Okay, now sit that down in there. Make sure we've got it right into the crease. Fold that over and press that down. I'm going to use a bit of tissue, dry tissue, to sort of wipe that excess glue off, and then burnish it. Make sure that it's going to stick nicely. There we go. Now I'll trim that off once again. Right, so that gives us some extra strength in there. Right, now what I want to do is collect up some papers to make a signature to go inside of this. So I'll go and collect those up and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got these, I'm just using 2 pieces of paper because, as I said, this is going into my ideas book, so it won't get used. Now I cut these 8 3/4 by 6 1/8, yes, because I want them to fit inside of this, and this way this measures 4 1/2 by 6 1/8, or 6 3/16, but I thought 1/8 was close enough. So I wanted it to be a little bit shorter in this direction, so I thought I'd make it 4 3/8, which double that was 8 3/4. So that's how I came to that measurement. Now I'm just going to fold these in half. Finish those down. And then these will get stitched into this one that we've reinforced. So I'm just going to check and make sure that they fit in there. They fit in there nicely. Yeah. I could make them a little bit shorter if I wished, but no real need for that. Now, because there's only 2 pieces, I'm not going to worry too much about pinning them down or anything like that. I could just put a clip there and a clip there. Now I'm going to I'm not measuring, I'm just poking a hole in about the centre, and I'm going to poke a hole in the top about there, and about the same distance up from the bottom, about there. And I'm going to just use a needle and some of this wax thread to bind that in. As you can see, I'm just doing a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I will speed this up. I'm sure you all know how to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. If you don't, I'm sure that I have got a video on how to do it. Okay, so I've done the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, but I've got way more thread here than I need, so I'm just going to pull some of it back through. There we go. I'm going to pull this nice and tight and make sure that it's all flat on the back. Tie a knot. Double knot. Okay, cut that off. You can leave these long if you want to and hang something from them. I'm not going to bother in this instance. So there we go, we've got our signature stitched in to our envelope. Okay, so now we need to have a little closure here. Now I'm going to, first of all, we need to strengthen this back piece, and that's what I'm going to use this for. So I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to mark that. There, there's my pencil, there's the fold, so I'm just going to mark that there, cut that off, I'm going to move it over a bit so that it overlaps that edge. Now we can ink around this. In my ideas book is not pretty. You know, I don't do things so that they all match up and look perfectly matched together, like use the same papers or anything like that. Yeah, so as I was saying, when I'm doing things in my ideas book, I don't make them look pretty. I don't embellish tags and things like that unless there's something that I'm trying to remember that's on the tag, like, you know, using a glossy accents to make something shiny or whatever. So I wouldn't even normally worry about inking. So let's put some glue on it. Okay. So that just gives that back part of our booklet a bit more strength so it doesn't flop around all over the place. Okay, so now you can see that's got a bit of strength to it. Right, now our closure. I'm going to use one of my Spellbinder Standard Circle Small, and I'm going to cut a circle out of this. Might make it. Anyway, I'm going to make it close enough. Right, I'm going to go and do that and I'll be back. Okay, so there we go. I actually cut 3 or 4 and I've glued them all together so that I know they're nice and sturdy. Now I'm going to attach this on here, and that's going to be my closure for my notepad. I'm just going to attach glue to half of this. And pop that down there, like so. Now you can put all sorts of paper in here. You can put, you know, scrapbook paper. You can put any sort of paper that you like. I've just used plain paper because it's my ideas book. So there we go. So now that goes into our ideas book. like this. So that goes on there. That flips over like that. Move that down a bit. So we've got it more in the centre, like so. Then we open this out and we glue this down. You can just glue around the edge and have a tuck if you want to, but I'm going to glue the whole thing down. Make sure we've got that pushed right up against that page edge. Fold that over. If you're doing this in a journal, of course, you could completely cover this with pattern paper so it looks pretty. You know, just glue along here and then you've got a tuck. If you've covered this and reinforced it a bit so that it can hold its shape and hold something in place. So there we go. You can put your pattern paper on here as well. Open out, we've got a booklet. I thought that was a great idea. Okay, that's one. Now, another simple page. I'm going to choose another page out of here. So let's choose this one because it's not one that I probably would use for anything else. There we go. And I'm going to trim that down so that it's got about the same size border all around. Now all I need to do is find my mark. Okay. And the height, is the height all right? Yes, the height's okay. Now I'm going to my glue's having a bit of a hiccup here, so I might just put the lid on it. Okay, now I'm going to take this to my big shop and I'm going to cut an oval out of it. Let's have a look which one I want. No, that's too big. That one will probably be alright. So I'm going to use this die, which is a Scissors Nesting Ovals. I'm going to use that and I'm going to cut a piece out of here. Okay, so I've cut that out and I've inked around the edges, so if you happen to watch me do that. Now I'm going to stick this onto my page. I'm going to stick just around the edges. I'm not going to stick anywhere else. Oh. Okay, stick that down there. Now what that gives us is a pocket. A great idea, I thought. Now I'm going to trim this down a little. I'm going to say make this, I don't know, let's say that big. And I don't back the tags or anything like that when I'm putting them in my ideas journal. So that's, you know, it doesn't have a tab, it doesn't have anything, just there to show a purpose. I was thinking though that it might be nice to have an ideas journal that looks pretty. Might be more inviting, you know, to make those certain projects. And so this project, this pocket, sort of just tucks in there like that. Isn't that great? And, well, then we could say make this into a little tag as well. And that can go in there. I can put a few things in there. I thought that was another great idea. So there we go. So there's a couple of quick projects I mean, for today. So we've got our envelope booklet that is at a page flip out, and we've got our pocket, which is just a cutout from a piece of pattern paper. I thought that was great. Okay, so I changed my mind and I decided to embellish my project a little bit. I have added some pattern paper to the front of the envelope and just embellished it with a strip down the edge, a tag and a little circle. These come in the back of the pad, the paper pad, so I thought, well, they're there, I might as well use them. On the inside I've left it plain. We've just got our pattern paper dot and at the back. I could have covered this and in real life I probably would cover this and this if I was using it in a journal. And I also thought that the tags that were the same colour blended in too well in the background, so I have backed both of the tags actually with a different pattern paper, but I thought that the green one, the bigger one being green and this one being smaller with the same pattern, looked alright. You could see that there were two in there. So that's how I have changed the two embellishments that we made tonight. Alright, once again, thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, I'd love it if you'd give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. But really, I just hope that you'll be able to join me when I post my next video. Okay, bye.